Welcome back to another video, everyone. As you can probably see from the Scout, winter has arrived. So in this episode, we are going to be working on the front suspension. I'm going to put coilover hoops in, and then we're going to get the coilovers put in there and kind of see where our ride height's going to be and figure out full bump, full droop, and ride height. So let's go ahead and get started. So I put these pipe stands in here, and this is going to hold the frame level. They have a threaded head, so I can micro adjust it up and down a little bit. But right now, our front is a little bit lower than the rear. Obviously, nothing is finalized. We still have to do a roll cage, transmission, drive shafts. A lot more work to be done on this, so our weight is going to change. But this will help us get a general idea because our coilovers and the distance from the axle to the top of the shock hoop is not going to change. That's all going to be the same. So we can always buy stiffer springs or add leaves to the rear or take leaves out of the rear. But what matters is that our suspension points stay the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. The frame being level is the most important part, because as long as I build all of my frame side mounts, the hoops and the brackets to be at the same angle, the same height, everything, it doesn't matter where the front axle is, because I know that everything is the same on the axle. I know that mount is the same as that mount. So this shock, like this tire's flat. So when I put this shock in, this side should have a little bit more shaft exposed than this side. So I'm gonna go ahead, I got this coilover thrown on. I just put a bolt in the bottom, and then I got my tabs in the top. I bent up some DOM that I'm gonna use as the hoop, and then I'm just gonna go ahead. Basically, my plan is I'm gonna open up my shock or pull it out until I have about 4 to 5 inches of shaft exposed. That's gonna be from the shock body to the bottom of the bump. That is not a bump stop. That's just to help save the shock body so your shock body is not slamming into your eye. I will have to do bump stops and limit straps at some point, but for now we're just getting the suspension set up. So I'm going to measure from the bottom of the shock body to the bottom of the bump, and that will give me my 4 to 5 inches of shaft exposed. Alright, so I want these hoops to sit back here a little bit, probably about there. But I want to sit center on the frame and be vertical, so I have to cut more of this body out so my shocks can go and fit in there. So I'm just going to cut this out of the way. I'm just going to cut it back there on both sides and just get it out. And that way I can go ahead and get all this mocked up. So here it is at full droop. Unfortunately, I can't really flex test it yet, just because I don't have that 4th link in there. The axle's moving side to side too much, so it's unfortunate, but it's just where we're at. Alright, so here it is for the most part. That floor jack is actually maxed out. I have, I'm hitting that bump. There's another inch of shaft in there, so theoretically this side could go up a little bit more, but this side is at full droop. You can see it's flexing pretty good in the front. And then I just wanted to double check my spacer clears. And this is the widest spot. This is actually wider than the coils. So if this will clear the frame at full bump, full flex, then the coils will clear. So looking pretty good. Might have some interference on the links with the 42 on here, depending on how much steering angle I end up getting out of these knuckles and out of my ram and everything, but that is a problem for down the road. I might have to move those links inboard a little bit earlier than we expected, but as of now I'm happy with it. Like I said, I gotta get that 4th link fixed so we can get this thing sitting on its own weight. But that's with the hood off, or sorry, the hood on. Looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I think this thing should work pretty good. It looks classy enough. I mean, it's already beat up, so we don't have to worry about body damage. We can just go wheel it and have fun. So this video ended up being a lot shorter than I expected.
With the winter kind of being here, we were just busy getting everything kind of put away and get everything ready for the snow. So I didn't really film as much as I probably should have and could have. But as you can see, the Scout is coming along very nicely. I got all the suspension components in. The hoops are just tacked in for now. I got that fourth link fixed. Basically what happened is when I welded in the threaded bung, 3 of the links were just fine. I did 8 of them. I did 8 ends, 4 links, and there was only one end that got gummed up. I don't know what happened because I welded them all the same, but I ended up just running a tap down it and cleaning those threads out, and it threaded in. So I gotta get that put back in. I can flex test it. I was talking to some people about clearances. Some people raised some concerns about the coilover clearance against the frame, and if I have an issue with that clearance, I can always just shave the frame a little bit. As you can see in this picture here, that blue line represents the shaving I would be doing. So I could cut into the frame a little bit and then replate it because the frame is boxed. So it shouldn't be an issue at all for me to do that. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am. Having a good time building the Scout, something new. It's a lot more in depth than I've ever done before. I got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm planning on building, I think I'm just going to go with a 10-inch ram. I'm build it from scratch. It's going to be a 3-inch inside diameter to get a little more fluid in there. Probably stick to an 1.5-inch rod diameter. That seems to be plenty. I think 1 3/4 will probably be a little overkill for this. But I'm going to go ahead and do that 3-inch inside diameter just to keep it a little cooler. And then the more fluid you have in there, theoretically it should give you more pressure to push. So I shouldn't have any binding and whatnot. I'm going to mill my knuckles, and then I'm going to play around with the knuckles a little bit, because when I do the high steer arms on there for the double shear, it kind of depends. I was talking to people on Facebook, and that distance from the bolt to the ball joint kind of depends on, or it determines how much steering angle you get. So if you move it out, your steer arm is longer, farther away from the knuckle, you're going to have less steering angle. But if you bring it in closer to the knuckle, you're going to have more steering angle. So I'm going to kind of play around with that. Reach out to Brannick Motorsports. I'm using their axle shafts in the Scout, and just kind of see what their ideal operating angle is for those 1550 joints, and then build my high steer and my ram mount, everything around their axle shafts, because I don't want to run into any issues using their axle shafts because I'm overstressing them, breaking U-joints or having binding, any of that kind of stuff. So I want to work within their limits. So yeah, I appreciate everyone watching this. Again, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and we'll catch you on the next one.